you think was the difference tonight?
Difference in regards to.
Just the result in the game, the Lakers winning, specifically their top three players, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Luka, kind of having big nights.
Yeah, I mean they are a very important trio, just like ours. I thought the difference was our start to the game. Unfortunately, the first half was not at the quality that we need in order to beat a team of this quality, and that's something we got to work on. We got to get better. We know that time is of the essence. We're facing a back-to-back after tomorrow, but very simple. I can already say, like, a lot of times you don't know what happened during the game really before you watch the video, but I can already say, like, we failed at the basics in the first half, so got to do a better job with those.
Before we get to the locker room is open, Vince leaving.
Hey, Coach, even though you got off to a really bad start in the first half, what did you do different, better in the second half defensively to get back into the game?
Well, I thought it was encouraging. Now, like, the goal of the game is to win, obviously. So we can't be happy with our performance. But it was encouraging to me that after that lackluster start, we did a lot of things a lot better in the second half. We had better on-ball pressure. We did better in our pick-and-roll defense. We did not allow the opposition to get easy offensive rebounds. We applied friction, as we like to say, in the full court to wear down their best players and not just allow them to jog into their spots and get the exact shots. It's a lot of things, but we must develop a mentality that is very difficult and arduous to play against us. And the first half was not that, and in the second half that was the case, and that has been the common thread in the good defensive games or in the good games overall for us.
I know you've been a head coach before in your career, but I'm just curious, did today feel standard for you? Did it feel normal? Did you managing the rotations and taking guys in and out, that sort of thing?
Part of it felt normal, the game day excitement and the anticipation. I've sometimes said, like, that's always the worst time to be the coach, like between the shoot around and the game, because it's kind of out of your hands at that point, and then you're waiting, and then when the game starts, you're kind of in the role. But I at the same time I like consciously not trying to make it about, like, the situation is not about me. It's about the team. So you're just thinking about solutions. You're trying to be very solutions oriented. The fact that we have now also other staff members in new roles, that is something we also can improve on, like our process during the game. So there's a lot of things I feel like we can do staff and players better. But yeah, it was a long time since I coached a game.
Do you have a lead assistant? Who is that?
Jason March is acting as a lead assistant right now.
Tuomas, straight ahead here in the back. Zach Edey's role had diminished a little bit the last couple games. You put him back in the starting lineup tonight. One, what led to that decision? Two, felt like he was playing with more aggression and intent than maybe we've seen at any point recently. What did you just kind of think of that, and what led to that?
Well, if you look at the Lakers' substitution patterns, they bring in at about 6 minutes. They bring in the smaller guys in for Hayes, and we wanted to match up Zach with Hayes, and I thought he had a good game. He can be better in the beginning. I think he could have done a better job with the pick and roll defense. But like you said, as the game wore on, he was better and better. Was more physical. But the hard part about evaluating Zach is he does a lot of those, like, invisible things that don't necessarily show up in the box score. He takes a lot of space. He protects the rim. He lowers the opponent's shooting percentage, and in the end, you look like our offensive rebounding percentage is I think plus 10 with him on the floor, and those are the things that are easy to underestimate, like compared to smaller, like, skilled players or more skilled players. So We like Zach. He's a tremendous worker every day, and I think the future is very bright for him because of how he works, and he's, like, to your point, like the fact that he's been in and out of the starting lineup, always comes, always does the best, gives his best attitude, and is also actively asking, can we watch video? Where can I improve? So very, very high marks for him.
There have been a lot of games this season. This is one of them, at least from a distance, where the team loses relatively close games, single digit margin, and the other team's star players, best players, have played a lot more minutes than the Grizzlies had. Obviously, this game, Jaren had the early fouls and Ja coming off the hamstring. But in a broader sense, what is your sort of philosophy or approach to sort of that question of that minutes imbalance, among star players?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and a very valid question. Like, because you can, on the other hand, you can argue that playing your star players more, that gives you more bang for the buck. Then you could say, okay, can we get the same? Can we, by spreading the minutes out more, can we play with more intensity? Can we play with more pace? Can that be a competitive advantage if somebody else is not doing it? Because if you're trying to do the same exact thing that everybody else, I'm not sure you should be expecting different type of results than the other teams. So I think it's all about finding the competitive advantage. I do know that it won't work if you play your star players less and you play with the same intensity as the other team. So that's what I said. We got to do the basics better. We got to play with a higher intensity, higher pace, the things that are cornerstones of our identity. Then we can maybe reap the benefits of that. If that's not the case, we got to play the star players more.
Coach right here. Scotty has been having great shooting games ever since you guys were on the road. He's been having about at least 15 points per game since that road trip, and then tonight he finished with 16 off the bench. I talked to him before the game. He felt like his shooting game was getting better. Where do you assess his game going?
I mean, Scotty's been he's been playing out of his mind the last games, and throughout the season he's been one of many positive surprises in our team, who stepped up, especially now before tonight, in the absence of Ja. Like, he's been able to step up and keep us competitive with his pace, with his shooting, and with his on-ball pressure. He's one of those guys who in our team can really get up on the ball handler, make their life difficult, and in that way downstream in the possession help us also. And now we got kind of a luxury problem that we have two good point guards at the moment, but they also their lineup stats together are very positive. They played well together throughout the season. It's more like, can we get enough length and size for the other positions to fill out now, especially in the absence of BC. So those are the actual challenges for us, that we have lineups that still provide enough spacing and defense.
Last two, Parker and Avery.
The Lakers shot 19 of 43 from the three-point line, and that advantage really kind of showed early in that first quarter. Is it one of those things where the perimeter defense is more of an intensity standpoint, or is there anything with the game plan that needs to be sharpened to kind of not only cut down the makes, but also just that intense advantage? It's a plus 10 for them.
Yeah, I think game plan is probably not the exact term that I would use. Intensity is an umbrella term that has everything in it. I would say my experience about high-level basketball is that in order to win, you got to do the simple things well. You got to do the simple things well. You got to have a good to high IQ, basketball IQ on both ends of the floor. We've had issues building out from our shifts. So when our defenders help, we are not reading very well the ball handler, when to recover, when not. I think Portland was a good example of that. And that's one of those things that you got to work. We got young players also in the team. We got older players. Doesn't matter. Our whole team needs to get better at those things, at recognizing it's not only that situation, it's under-helping in certain situations, over-helping in others. It's getting beat one-on-one, okay, to the strong hand or straight line. It's getting hit in the ball screens, which is causing then it's stretching out the defense. And what happens when not everything is going your way is actually the opposite of what people think. People think players are giving up, but instead the players try to compensate for each other's mistakes, and that is a lack of trust, because they don't trust that the other player is going to do their job, so they're trying to compensate, and that way the defense is stretched out. So our process is very simple. We've got to work on the basics, got to get better at those, and then we got to rebuild the trust in the defense that everybody's going to be able to do their job. They must first have the self-confidence, then they must have the confidence in their teammates that they can do it, and they must have the confidence in the coaching staff that what we are doing is the right thing. And I think we are on the right path with this, but it will take some time.
Last question, Adrian.
Coach in the back, in the very back. How do you feel like the team responded to the entirety of the situation? Coach Jenkins being fired the first game, and with you in the huddle today.
I mean, I already pretty much addressed this in the pregame or in the pregame press conference. Like, obviously a lot of emotions involved. Other than that, I gotta admire the professionalism of these guys. You know, it's with that short of a turnaround, guys were locked in. Everybody was like, this is our plan, this is what we are going to do. Couldn't like be more positive or proud about the guys' response, and we will keep it going forward, and we will improve for the next game. Thank you.